From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
Hey, we are back here with Amber Hardwick, who's a Fox 59 meteorologist who you can also see on CBS 4 in the mornings. But she also has a hidden talent. So she's a scientist, as meteorologists are, but she's also an artist. Amber, how did this come to be? Because now you have created one, by the way, I don't know if you realize and if you meant to do this, but you've turned what I think was a hobby now into like a whole franchise / a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Doodlecast. That's what
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about. You want to know how it got started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was 7 years ago. Sorry, 7 years ago. It was in the summertime when my first year I was here,
Mm-hmm.
and all the computers, the Max computers, were in use, and we use our Max computers to export our
Mm-hmm.
graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have access to them because they were all busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how am I going to post on social media some of my just like a weather forecast, just an
Mm-hmm.
update? So I was just joking around and I drew a picture. I like to doodle, and they've come a long way.
Uh-huh.
I grabbed the screenshot of the first Doodlecast
Let's
that I
see.
posted. And I used to do it on just scrap paper
Mm-hmm.
because in our weather center we have a lot of pages printed with like forecast updates, and there'll be mesoscale discussions, and it's just on the fly
Mm-hmm.
always. So I used to use scrap paper. The first one, maybe I can bring it up closely. I don't know
Let me
if it's
see.
gonna focus in. Oh man, I don't know what
I
it's
don't think
gonna
that
do.
works. Is
Bummer.
that one that you sent to me?
No, I didn't send it, but I could send it real quick to you. So I did that because I didn't have access to the computer. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, just social media. And people were like, "Oh, I actually like that," and I'm like, "Wait till you see this, Cameron. Oh my gosh." It's come a long way. It's very basic. I just have a sunshine
Mm-hmm.
and a cloud and then a few
Mm-hmm.
snowflakes, and I mean, it's very basic.
Okay, hang on, let me see. Just let me I will
Yeah,
pull that
pull it
back
up.
up.
It's gonna, and I don't have a title to that email, but
That's
yeah,
okay.
I just pulled this up. I was looking at it. I'm like, I wonder what my first one was. So I went ahead and looked back at my social media for that very first doodle. It's very different from where it's evolved to
Uh-huh.
today.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to say I was like super artistic. I think my mom is very artistic.
Mm-hmm.
My sister they're both so artistic. And I always thought I drew like the short end of the straw when it came to my artistic ability compared to them. But I was always really great with math until I got to calculus. Then it got really challenging for me. Calculus was not easy for me. But I was always great with math and sciences, and then when I just started practicing more and more with Doodlecast, I feel like it's just kind of evolved to what it is today. And this
Mm-hmm.
year I wanted to do something where I feature kids doodles on Tuesday mornings. So we'll do 3 kids because we're getting that many submissions,
Mm-hmm.
and I love all these submissions. We're getting most of them on there too. This was this year's Indy 500 one. I'll add that the Indy 500 ones are hands down the toughest ones to do. They take the longest time. I was out for jury duty one day, so I went ahead and did that one.
So you weren't focused on what they were talking about in court?
Oh no, this was before I was in court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I did that in lieu of me being here at work. I did the doodle beforehand and just gave it to the anchors for them to tell them that I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there that day because I was there for jury duty. April Fool's Day, that was a fun one. That was a more basic one, but I had a lot of fun with that.
So let me see real quick. If I do this, I think I can pull up
Okay. The
the
OG,
the OG.
the OG Doodlecast.
Let's
Oh
see.
my goodness,
Let's
it's
see.
so funny.
Let's see if we
Um,
pull this. There you go. That's how it all started.
this is how it all started. I mean, we just had a chance. Yeah, it was just like a chance for flurries in the morning and then some sunshine in the afternoon, high of 50, a low of 34. You got the information. That's everything you needed. And then it was Daniel Miller that
Mm-hmm.
was like, "You need to color these."
Mm-hmm.
Now that I color them, because they went just for black and white for a
Mm-hmm.
while with marker, and then I added color, and doing the color adds a lot more time.
Yeah.
So I have to give myself more time to do my doodles every week. So I have Tuesday as a designated day for Doodlecast.
So first of all, you have good handwriting,
Well, thank you.
but having good handwriting is different than doing that.
Yes, it's definitely it's evolved. That's the best way to put it over
Uh-huh.
time. And most of the time, it just depends on what's happening, what inspires me for Doodlecast. Sometimes I look at the national calendar, like the daily calendar, or if it falls on a holiday, I'll do something for an actual holiday. Or if there's a big event in Indianapolis, like State
Mhm.
Fair, I'll usually do a special State Fair type of forecast. Or of course the Indy 500, that's a big one.
Now, if we look that Indy 500 one, it's on a loop, so I don't know if I can stop
Yeah.
it. But I was looking at how long did that one take you? Because you've got a lot of colors, because you've got all the people in the stands
Mm-hmm.
that I noticed you gave everybody some color. Like that was no that guy right there. Let me see if I can pause it. I think I can pause it.
Okay.
That's no easy job there.
No, it takes a long time, and I would say that's the longest part is doing all the colors of like the t-shirts and just the fans in the stands. The whole doodle took me about it was about 6 to 7 hours,
Really.
somewhere in there. Yeah. So I worked on the outline for 2 hours at work,
Which is
and
and that's an accurate outline of IMS and the pagoda. Is that from
yeah.
memory or is that from a based off a picture?
It was based on a picture. I was just watching I looked at a picture. I find a screenshot.
Mhm.
The one I did the year prior with the race car, for example, this one, it might be hard to see,
Yeah, you can see
with
it.
like the race car up close.
Mhm.
That was actually a screenshot that I took from a promo video that IMS sent out for Twitter or
Okay.
X. When they had that out, I grabbed a screenshot. I'm like, oh, that's a cool vantage point inside of
Mhm.
the race car from the track. I'm going
Mhm.
to go ahead and do that. And then I saw the picture with the Thunderbirds, and I was like,
Mhm.
that's always, it seems like when you ask people one of their favorite experiences at IMS on the Indy 500 day, flyover. So I
Mhm.
wanted to represent that. But when I was drawing those planes, they look like starfish at first. So I was having a hard time. I was like, I don't want them to look like starfish, you know? But it just, it takes a lot of time. I wanted to make sure this is the one doodle a year that I really take a long time to
Mhm.
focus on. Now, later in the week, I did like Great Popsicle Day. That was not nearly as elaborate of a doodle.
Okay, so now I'm looking at this one. So this is when you were out for jury day. And
Yes.
so tell us about this because I see it's inspired by what you were out doing.
Well, I since we do the Doodlecast on Tuesdays,
Mhm.
I'm usually the one that features it, but I wasn't there that day
Mhm.
because I was called in for jury duty. I actually got picked for that
Oh,
case
really?
too. Yes, I did. I was gone. I was out for 2 days.
Ah.
But when I was out,
Was it that quick or did you finally get told to get out?
it was 2 days.
Oh, okay.
It was 2 days worth. That trial was, but with I wanted to give a reason and draw a reason why I wasn't there.
Mhm.
So the anchors just took over like, "Hey, she's not here today, but here's the
Mhm.
Doodlecast because she's out for jury duty." And I just did the same thing, saying I'm excited to sleep in because I was out this past Tuesday. So I just draw a doodle just to say, "Hey, I'm not here, but we're still featuring
Mhm.
the three kid pictures on the show. Just because I'm out, I don't want people to miss out on having their photo on the news."
Well, but this has turned into I mean, this is art.
Well, thank you. I like this one a lot. I put in a lot of thought into it, even though it doesn't look like it. The severe thunderstorm had more weight. It was a stronger cell,
Okay.
and it was holding a barbell. And then the other one holding two dumbbells, and it was strong.
Let me see. It's getting ready to come back up.
Yeah, it's getting ready to come back up. But yeah, I put in a lot of thought into it. So the one on the left is strong. It's holding two dumbbells. And then you have the heavier barbell for the severe because severe limits are stronger compared to the
Mhm.
strong storms.
So this is a image that a meteorologist would really that this one they
Maybe
would
would appreciate it.
yes, they would appreciate this one.
Yes. It was a threat for severe weather that day. We had a high at 79. So it's just another way to relay the information.
Mhm.
Not lowering the threat, but it's just another way
Just
to,
another way to say, "Hey, pay attention."
yeah, pay attention. And maybe it got more eyes on the radar
Mhm.
that day. Who knows? But I had a lot of fun drawing that one. That was one of my favorite, more recent favorite ones. besides the Indy 500. And then the flag that the son is holding in the Indy 500 one,
Uh-huh.
that was a last minute decision. That was the
Uh-huh.
very last thing I did on that picture. I was like, oh, I'll have him
Well, how
holding
do
the
you call it
flag.
quits? When do you say, okay, that's enough? This picture's done.
When my hand hurts.
Okay.
I don't know. You kind of look at it and be like, I'm missing a little something here, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of fill in the blanks. But yeah, I would say that was just like a last minute, like I'm just gonna go ahead and do that because I was gonna wrap it up from there. But
And do you always know what the image is going to be, or do you just start drawing until you figure out what
I
it is?
don't know. I don't know. I just wing it because I even say that when I start. I'm like, well, this is the inspo. We're just gonna go with it and see how it turns out and hope for the best. And for the most part, it adds up and it
Mm-hmm.
looks okay at the end. But I started doing doodle time in the evenings with Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been learning how to draw a lot too because
Really?
I showed him like how to draw a coffee mug. He learned how to there's an apple pie day recently and I showed him how to draw a pie and he was like following me and mimicking
Mm-hmm.
how to draw a pie. But there are times I don't get to it until Monday evening and we have Tuesday morning for Doodlecast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just too much to finish with getting the forecast ready and doing all the things early in the morning. So I have to do it the night prior. So I'm like doodle time. So now that's catching on with Cody. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
try to get a head start with next week's within the next couple of
Now
days.
you're teaching him, but did anybody teach you how to draw? Or because this is advanced since the OG picture.
Oh, yes. Um, Not really. I just trial and error, I would say. There were times there have been plenty of times I'm like, "Oh, no. We're just gonna
Mm-hmm.
we're just gonna throw this one out. We're gonna start over." And I still do that at times. But I have my huge stack. I have a bunch of doodle
Let's see what you
casts
got.
here.
Let's bring you up full here and
Okay.
see your collection.
So I actually have a folder that my son got me for my birthday. Purple's my favorite color. He's like,
Okay.
you need a picture or you need a folder for all your pictures, all your
True.
doodles. And he calls them doodles now, not so much pictures
Uh-huh.
anymore. But I mean, some of the more recent ones are the ones we just showed. Last year's Indy 500 briefly showed.
Mm-hmm.
I still keep them all. I need to put them in a binder.
And do you date them?
I actually don't, but if you look at my Instagram, it's all archived for the
Okay.
dates.
Okay.
So I could date them, I just haven't.
You
But
probably should start dating.
that's a good idea. But some of
Write
the
it on
more
the back.
basic ones are the most effective, like the toasty
Mm-hmm.
weather. I get a lot of good feedback about the pumpkin spice and the fall
Tilt it
ones.
down a little bit.
Down.
There you
There we
go.
go. Yay. 14 days to fall. I'm a huge fan of fall. So
Okay.
I actually think out of all the seasons, fall's probably one of my favorites to doodle.
National Coffee Day.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a must, Cameron.
It is.
National Coffee Day.
I need some coffee right now.
Oh, I made some. I'm like, can we just postpone this, delay it a minute or two so I can have some coffee?
Let's see. Happy Thanksgiving. Do
Thank.
they think they'll know?
Do you think they'll know? Because he was disguising.
Oh, because he's the cook.
Yeah, kiss the cook. He's disguising himself to not be eaten.
Yes. Makes sense.
I had a lot of fun with that one. So no, there's the jury duty one, but you know, it's also a stress relief. We listen to a lot of hard news in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I have my IFB in all morning, and that's how the producer relays the information to us, our
Mm-hmm.
time cues and everything when we're up for teas. And sometimes listening to the hard news gets to me.
Yeah.
So it was nice to sort of disconnect. And I started
Oh, I like
doodling
that
to
one.
just, oh, happy Easter. Yeah. I started to do Doodlecast just to pass some time. Um, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is a state fair one.
Let's see. What do we have? We got lemon shake up, $2 Tuesdays. Now, what's the thing in the middle? Is that the sun? No, it's not the sun. The little guy.
The little guy, I was trying to do what is it? A deep fried Oreo. That's what
Okay.
they look like because they're batter covered.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
They almost look like a nugget, but if you wanted to say it was a nugget, you could totally go for a
That's where I
nugget.
was thinking, but
It could you could have a happy nugget
it
there.
wasn't.
It's
I wasn't finding the state fair correlation.
oh, well, deep fried Oreo was
Okay.
what I was going at. And I
Which,
think
when
I
you say that, it
actually
makes sense.
yeah. Oh, this one was a little fun, National Hammock Day. It was just I'm having a hard time holding these. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You get the idea. We just have I have a bunch of doodles here. I even have my OG ones. I don't throw them away unless
Mhm.
I spill coffee or something bad happens. My current Indy 500 doodle is on my refrigerator right now because I needed to keep it away from the puppy that
Mhm.
likes to rip things into little pieces.
Yeah.
Or if Cody finds it, most of the time he won't color on it, but he could. So I just kept it on the fridge for now. I'm like, this is where it's going to be until I can put it back in this folder. Because after the 500 coverage, I actually just went right home.
How was it for you this year?
It was a lot of fun. You know, it was a lot cooler.
Mhm.
This year, I ended up doing the one leg that was a full pair of jeans and then
Okay.
the cut off in the other
The
leg.
short one,
Yes. And it
half
was big.
jeans, half shorts.
Yes, exactly. And it was actually a great gauge for what you should wear all morning long with how cool it was
Uh-huh.
outside because my leg that I had the full jean, the full leg, it was a lot more comfortable compared to my jort leg.
Understood.
Yeah. It's because we ran a story in February. It was sometime early, it was either early spring or late winter, where there was a designer, a French designer that designed these jeans and was
Mhm.
selling them for about $450.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that time I was like, that's what I'm going to wear. That's what I'm going to wear at Gate 1 this year.
Mhm.
And I had my vision. And of course, I waited to the absolute last minute to do it. I went to Goodwill the night prior. I grabbed a box cutter, cut off one leg, threw it in the washer and dryer, and there you go. It was 7 o'clock in the evening when I got those bad boys put together.
So, forecasting for the race. By the way, if I was listening right, this was one of the coldest race days on
Yes,
history.
since 1997. Yes, that was when we had a high of 60. I believe it was 60, and that was a makeup day for the race. So it was actually on a Monday.
Well, I remember I went to the 100th running, and
Okay.
I drove. That's not my first one. Nothing was that my first one. It might have been my first one, but I drove a bus there. I drove a motor coach, which the bus in the inside is air conditioned. So
Mhm.
I am wearing long sleeve white shirt and black pants because the bus
Okay.
actually gets pretty cold.
Yeah.
But they also gave me a ticket to go inside of the race. So I go in, and I don't know if you remember what the temperature was that year.
I don't remember the 100th on the top of my
It
head.
was hot.
Was it one of the
It was
hottest?
one of the hottest. And I remember sitting in the stands where I was like, I remember other people leaving because how hot it was. And there was actually a lady, somehow I ended up, well, it makes sense. My ticket would have been with sitting with them. And she was
Mhm.
like, is there any way we can go back to the bus? Like, I am just dying. I'm like, you know what? We sure can go to the bus.
Let's
Come
go to
on,
the
let's go.
bus. We'll
Because
turn on the radio.
yes, because it is hot in here. So I'm sure a colder race day would have been much more enjoyable.
It was pretty comfortable outside. I mean, we had cool early in the morning, but for the most part, I think for viewing purposes, watching the race, it probably wasn't too bad because you didn't have the sun beating down.
Mm-hmm.
It was unfortunate that we had the little bit of rain and that delay at the beginning of the race,
Mm-hmm.
but I went when it was it was 84 for the high, 84, 85. That was most recently in 2022, and it felt so much hotter because being by the track, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just radiating heat because
Mm-hmm.
it's all concrete,
Well, the other thing is,
asphalt. Yeah.
I found I was at the track before it started, like 2 weeks before maybe, and it was actually cold. I was standing on the track,
Oh,
and it was colder there because I guess somehow it's a wind tunnel.
I could believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually colder, especially if you stood,
Hmm.
uh, if the stands were blocking, super cold. But then you'd have to get into the light, and I was like, I should have brought a jacket, but it's May. I didn't think I need a jacket.
Uh huh.
Wrong.
It's been cool recently. I know we did have just recently some 80-degree days and just the humidity really just returning. It
Mm-hmm.
seemed like all at once. It just kind of slapped you in the face after having the cooler than average days for a bit. But
73 degrees is the perfect temperature.
I love 73. If we can have a mix of sun and clouds and 73 with a breeze, like that's ideal for me.
Uh-huh. That would be perfection to have that temperature. That's why I love Florida. Go to Florida in the spring. Now in the summer, Florida in the spring, and you get the best tropical breeze. It's It's like, now this
What
I can
part of
work with.
Florida?
Tampa.
Okay. So is that where you when you go to spring break, go to
That
Tampa?
that was at least one time. We've done
Mhm.
Miami and we've done Tampa. Um, but I just remember like the weather, the sky, the color that day. I was like, this is perfect.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I prefer going down to like the Gulf Coast or
Okay.
just in general in the spring months because I like the cooler mornings and just the right temperature afternoons. So like 70s. I prefer that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind having long sleeves on sometimes earlier in the morning when need to be. But some people just want to go when it's hot. And I'm like, ooh.
Mm-mm.
I went down, I was in Gulf Shores this time last year,
Mm-hmm.
Orange Beach.
I want.
Oh man, it was so hot.
I don't want to be uncomfortable.
And there were also a lot of shark sightings that
No.
week we were down there. I didn't watch the news. I disconnected, but the one time I heard the news in the background, it was all these shark sightings and I'm like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Like
No.
not that far from where we were, and I'm like, see, this is why I didn't want to listen to the news. I wanted to enjoy the beach a little bit more."
No. See, I need to be comfortable. I don't. No, thank you. No, thank you. But the other part of Florida that I do like, we've been to Key West as well.
Okay, I haven't been that far south.
So, I've actually driven all. If I remember right, I believe now we have driven every mile of I-75
Oh,
from
cool.
Key West all the way up to the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan.
That's cool.
Now, it wasn't all at once, but from our time in Michigan, it was like, hey, we've done I-75 from there to the border.
Mhm.
And then in my bus travels going up down I-75 through Ohio and into Kentucky. And then a spring break trip from here, we did drive to Tampa and then we drove to Miami. So the whole thing, we've seen it all. So
If you had to recommend a place to go visit, where would you recommend?
Los Angeles, and wait, in Florida?
Anywhere.
Los Angeles is my favorite city.
Okay.
If I got the chance to go live there, I would. Again, I think the weather it fits
Mhm.
my vibe. I like that 70 some degree temperature. Yes, it gets a little hot.
Yes.
But not Arizona hot, but it does get hot. But that's my vibe. Los Angeles, 70 something degree days in the spring. That's usually when I like
Nice.
to go. I got one of my best friends lives there. Um, we go hang out there. Where's your favorite spot?
I want to go back to Bonita Beach,
Where's that?
Sanibel Island. So it's just south of Fort Myers
Okay.
a bit.
Okay.
And we went there in the spring and it was perfect. Beautiful
Yes.
sunset. I mean, anywhere you're going to get a beautiful sunrise and sunset, but
Mm-hmm.
it was like you could have long sleeves on in the morning just with the breeze right on the beach and then warm up perfectly for the afternoon. It was ideal. It's pretty
You know
there.
what this means? I'm due for a vacation because I haven't gone anywhere this year. It's been busy.
Yeah. We're probably not gonna go anywhere this year, but we're also fixing up our backyard because I need a mini vacation every time I come home. You know
Yes,
what I
I
mean? Like
understand.
I need a little getaway
Hey, I
each
was sitting
day.
on the porch last night at 10:50, so I understand.
Ooh, that's late.
Well, it was the breeze. The temperature was perfect.
It was nice.
It was
And then
very
with the
nice.
rain around,
Yeah, and it wasn't raining yet.
it wasn't raining yet where
No,
you were.
no.
It started raining in the evening where we were.
I
So
was eating a burrito, sitting on the front porch. I had the lights off, so it was just the neighbors' lights lighting up everything. So I was like, I don't want to deal with the bugs.
everything ideal about that evening. The
Yes,
weather and the burrito, all of
yes,
it.
with
I love
verde salsa.
evenings.
Got to
Yes.
have the green salsa. Amber, we're just about out of time. One, where we can see you. You've got to do the noon show. You're doing the
Yes.
morning show on CBS, and then the weekend shows on Fox. But if people want to submit a doodle, one, do you have to be a kid to submit a doodle?
So we've had some adults submit doodles. I'll accept them for our gallery online usually.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to feature the kids
Mm-hmm.
on the actual show. But I
No
won't.
age discrimination, Amber.
I'm trying not to. But for the most part, I try to show. I mean, it could be grade school, high
Mm-hmm.
school.
Mm-hmm.
We've had. I think the oldest kid maybe been 14 or 15 that we have featured so far,
Okay.
but we have had adults submit their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still accept them for the gallery online for
Okay.
sure. But you go to fox59.com. there's the morning news tab, and it's share your Doodlecast. There's a little section there, and you can
Mhm.
see all the doodles that have been submitted. And all you have to do, it doesn't have to be a forecast. A lot of people think it's a forecast, but
Mhm.
it's just your favorite type. It could be your favorite type of weather. It can be any type of weather that you feel like drawing.
Okay.
Recently, I've had a lot of rainbows.
Okay.
A lot of rainbows. I know during when it just stayed cold forever, I feel
Mhm.
like in March, it just like we were getting a lot of like the spring type of
Yes.
forecast. So now
Yes.
I'm interested to see that transition
Yes, it's
to
time to
summer.
send us your best
Yes.
beach doodles
I
because
would love that.
it's time to go on vacation,
Uh-huh.
and that's what we need. Not only is it time to go on a vacation, it's time to go off the air and end this episode because we're completely out of time. Amber, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll watch Amber weekday mornings on CBS4 and Saturday and Sundays on Fox 59. That's going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle. I'll see you Sunday on my radio show Open Lines at 8 a.m. and tomorrow night again right here on Fox 59 Tonight.